Good evening, guys, or I guess really it's almost morning time. It's actually not that late. It's like it's a little after 2:30 actually. I need to go get in the shower and get to bed because we are going to go to Jewel tomorrow and also to probably Caputo's, maybe even to Valley Produce tomorrow. Like that'd be kind of nice, maybe just to get that out of the way. I don't really know, but yeah, I made my grocery list on Tuesday, so we probably actually could have gone to the grocery stores today, but we're gonna go tomorrow in the morning and then again on Saturday morning as well, just because it is supposed to snow tomorrow, and so it's supposed to snow I think at like 9 o'clock, so we probably wouldn't get like all the grocery shopping done tomorrow in the morning anyway, and we're supposed to be under like a winter storm, you know, warning or advisory or whatever, so you know, we obviously don't want to be out super long all day tomorrow, but as far as the end of 2020 goes, I honestly did not have that much to share with you guys. I was actually going to show you guys what we kind of ended up doing for dinner, sort of, but that, and then we didn't even really celebrate like New Year's. Like we didn't watch, like normally we'll watch like the countdown or something like that, like almost every single year, and to be honest, it's kind of the same thing. I would have been a little interested just to see what they were doing for, like, you know, obviously because of COVID and everything like that, if they were where they were hosting it and stuff like that, because normally it's always in the bars and stuff like that, you know, or some type of, you know, like entertainment, you know, venue or whatever is where they always seem like they are hosting, you know, like they're live from such and such place or whatever, and so since, you know, they're, like I said, there's COVID going on, like, you know, what did that look like? Would have been a little interesting to see, but like I said, there wasn't too much else really, I guess, going on, but we didn't end up actually watching that. My mom actually put on a movie, and me, Matthew, Jack, and my dad were actually playing, we played Minecraft for a little while, and then we actually ended up playing this other game that, I don't know, Matthew and Jack got maybe for free with their, like, because they have, I don't know what it's called, they have Xbox Live, I forget what it's called, like Pass or whatever, Xbox Pass or Microsoft Pass or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. Something Pass, I think, and you get like so many free games or something like that as long as it's like on the you know, like I said, through the thing or whatever. So there was one, I think it's called Overcooked, I think that's what it was. Oh my gosh, guys, that's a fun game. Like it's sort of almost like a diner dash sort of game, but with 4 people, and like each different stage, like there's different like stuff sort of going on that makes it like more difficult and, you know, things like that. I mean, it's sort of similar like that, like you're like sort of preparing food, but there's like all kinds of obstacles, and like we were cracking up. It was funny. So we were kind of debating like whether or not we were gonna play like a Jackbox Party Pack or like, you know, play something. But again, we ended up going with, you know, we were sort of scrolling through and I was like, what is that game? And so we got totally like sidetracked by it again. Really sort of even missed, you know, like, oh yeah, that was 2020's over now, you know, sort of missed ringing in the new year and everything like that, just because we were kind of just distracted doing, you know, like we were like, oh, it's 12 o'clock, and that was sort of it. And we got the dogs excited and got them all cheering with us, and we saw like some neighbors further like down the street were blowing off some fireworks, and other than that, again, there wasn't, you know, we didn't end up doing a whole ton. But for dinner tonight, so we had gotten 2 things of ravioli and then also a thing of like meatballs. And so what I was gonna do is I wanted to do like appetizers, because again, that's normally a lot of times what we do on New Year's Eve. And so the meatballs, I wanted to do like the used jelly and chili sauce. They're sort of like appetizer meatballs, and that's what I wanted to do with them. But then I was like, honestly though, why don't we just sort of do it as an actual dinner? So I did the ravioli and then just like cooked it in the crock pot, used the other crock pot, cooked the other like probably like, you know, 3/4 of the bag in like, you know, pasta sauce, and then ended up just making a thing of spaghetti. you know, with the meatballs, and then had the other small slow cooker just as like the appetizer meatballs, which just had the meatballs, like I said, with that like chili jelly sauce sort of stuff. I think maybe they're called like sweet and sour meatballs or something like that, or something cocktail meatballs or something, I don't remember. But I'm sure if you typed it into Pinterest, I think I just used equal parts like jelly to chili sauce. So anyways, that was kind of it. I was just going to share with you guys that, since I know I showed you guys in the haul from like last week and everything like that. Or was it last week? I think so. Or 2 weeks ago. No, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. No, 2 weeks ago, because we were going to do that for actually Christmas Day. And then we were like, let's just save it for Christmas Eve. And then we were like, honestly, there's really not that much else to do. My mom kind of wanted to do shrimp with like cocktail sauce. We didn't have cocktail sauce. And so my dad was going to run out to the store today, but the streets have been kind of like, it snowed 2 days ago or whatever, but my dad actually went to go to the bank, and he said that the roads weren't that good. Like, our street normally gets plowed because we have a like government building down the street from us. And so normally in our street is sort of like one of, other than the main street, it's one of the only ones that sort of runs all the way through if you're trying to get from like sort of the main town to point B of the main part of town, if that makes sense. And so without taking like the main, like, you know, road, ours is like the suburb road that mainly connects it. But again, we also have a government building on our street, so that's normally why it gets plowed. But my dad was saying some of the other side streets were like the residential areas. I guess that's what I was trying to say, the residential areas. And so like those streets were like still really bad actually, because my dad said that he had tried to, like I said, was sort of like looping around to go to the bank. And so, because normally I just take our street down to the bank since it goes all the way through. But he had to like sort of loop around with this van, and he said that one street was like really bad and they had a big hill too. And he was like, it's kind of scary. So like I said, some of the streets aren't even like that great out right now. That's why he ended up actually not going to then the grocery stores too, because it didn't, like I said, it wasn't very good when he even went earlier, because like it snowed 2 days ago or whatever that was, but then it like rained sort of, and then it got kind of warm, and so then but then it got cold again, so like the snow like froze over again. And so it's actually funny too, and the dogs are running around in the backyard. So like there's a layer of almost like ice over the snow, and so it's like when they walk on it, they're like, Bravo especially too cracks me up, because he's like all like spread out when he's walking, because the ice will like break under his weight because it's super thin, but then there's snow underneath that too, so it's not like he's just like on like the ground or anything. There's like a layer of snow underneath it, so like sometimes he can like take a couple steps, but then other times too he'll just sort of like break through the ice. Bliss is heavy enough where she just goes straight through the ice, but like the two of them are sort of small enough where like if they're really careful, like they'll sort of like still be on top of the ice, so they're really like awkward walking around out there. But yeah, that was like since like yesterday, that was sort of like that. So that's why again my dad said the streets are not that great. So anyways guys, I'm sorry I don't have much else to share with you guys for today too. It was also again sort of, you know, with my uncle passing away yesterday and stuff like that. Obviously there's been a lot of, you know, like family things too, and I think my mom might be going with my aunt maybe tomorrow or someday soon to go kind of through pictures and everything like that. And again, there's some other, you know, like I said, just things that, you know, have been going on and all of that kind of stuff. But I'm happy to put 2020 behind us. I feel like it's kind of weird though, just to be like, oh, 2020, you know, now that it's over and everything like that, oh, now we're gonna be happy and everything's gonna be good and stuff like that. I think, you know, it's not smart to say that or think that or anything like that. You know, just assuming that like, oh, it was just this year, like everything's gonna be good after that. You know, like we're not, you know, with everything too, it's like, you know, anything can happen at any time. You know, it's not necessarily just, you know, 2020. Obviously we've been through a pandemic, you know, this year and everything like that, and though things are, you know, I guess moving more in a positive direction, it's not like we can just assume that, oh, we're out of the woods now because 2020 is over. You know, so yeah, but I am happy still again to kind of put it behind us, because, you know, here's to hoping 2021 will be better. But like I said, we can't, I guess, necessarily always expect, you know, oh, this is going to be a great year or anything like that. Like, I think that, you know, again, I think that anybody necessarily predicted a pandemic, but I think that it's just like, you know, we can still be, you know, in charge of, you know, I guess our own happiness and our own, you know, I think that still, like, 2020, even though it was a crummy year, still, you know, I think taught me a lot. And, you know, I sort of reevaluated a lot. Again, I feel like I've had one of the more productive years that I've had, honestly. And maybe that's because it's involved me slowing down so much. And again, there's not all this stuff that's going on and places to go and things to do and stuff like that. I mean, we're still able to, you know, do some, you know, I guess I don't want to say a ton of stuff, but still being able to get out of the house finally after, you know, the lockdown and all that kind of stuff was over. And, you know, just even, you know, over the summer, me and my mom went to Goodwill a couple times, even though I know that's not probably doesn't sound all that entertaining. But, you know, that's still stuff that's like, you know, at least we still got to do that kind of stuff. It wasn't like we were completely locked down. You know, I just remember that being like a big thing sort of like over the summer, finally after the spring and all that kind of stuff. And then too, during the spring, we renovated the kitchen, you know, we were able to get a whole, you know, a lot of stuff done. You know, all of the outside stuff that we worked on, me and my dad were doing projects all the time. We, again, it's hard to think that like, oh, that was last summer, you know, like that was during this whole year and all that kind of stuff. But we built a stinking drawer in the kitchen, the one that we had that was broken. We were gonna have to get one custom made, so we ended up building our own. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I learned this year, again, building things and cooking. You know, I did a lot more cooking from scratch this year, and obviously there was a couple of reasons why. Grocery store stuff, but then also too, I made all of the Christmas cookies this year pretty much all from scratch. You know, I actually made banana bread today from scratch. You know, there was a lot of learning how to sort of be more frugal with our food and stuff like that too, just because of knowing like, oh my goodness, like, you know, there was a huge, obviously, you know, scare sort of with groceries and stuff like that for a little while. And so just like, how can we stretch this stuff to the best of our ability, you know, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, had a really good Christmas. Like I said, unfortunately lost some people in our lives too that were very close and important to us that, you know, like I said, there's some positivity, I guess, that I can look back onto and be like, you know, I feel like we had a good summer. I spent a lot of time outside in the backyard. You know, again, we did a lot of, you know, we built a bird sanctuary in the backyard, our little bird sort of looks like a jungle gym thing, you know, that we built back there with the bird feeders and the lattice with, you know, we are gonna have the morning glories that are gonna, you know, hopefully come back, or we can replant seeds in there. But, you know, all that kind of stuff that we did, and we built all that stuff this year. We replaced, finally, after years, we ended up replacing that the broken glass on our garage window with plexiglass this year. Like I said, I spent a ton of time outside, more than I had probably most summers, you know, really at all, other than when I was like little. But just being able to be outside and kind of enjoying our space back there, and again, bird watching, all that kind of stuff, I learned and got to see and attracted way more birds than I've probably managed to see or pay attention to in my lifetime so far. You know, there's just a lot of more variety of birds that I've really seen, and again, paid attention to, I think, a lot more this year. But there's, again, a lot of stuff I've learned, you know, been learning German and all that kind of stuff too. So I think that there's some good, again, you know, 2020, I think, really caused us to all slow down a lot more. And again, I think for me, that made me a lot more productive with things that I've been doing, and staying on track with stuff and things like that too. But again, not I wouldn't say it's my favorite year or the best year, but it's definitely was a change, and again, sort of made me reevaluate things. And I think that that is, you know, a good thing, is that sometimes, you know, unfortunately, sometimes it has to take something that's so drastic to make you reevaluate things, or, you know, change your perspective sometimes. And again, for me, being productive and stuff like that. And again, I feel like it was a lot of this year was just sort of doing simple things. You know, it didn't have to be like all this elaborate stuff or anything like that. It was sitting in the backyard on the porch swing and being able to watch the birds. And like how many times I ended up eating like lunch outside. I had lunch a lot outside. It was sort of that in-between time in the day where either that or I had breakfast outside a lot too, and like coffee and stuff like that, and just got to enjoy my day sort of out there. That for me was one of the big ones, I think, that made me really you know, like I said, just being able to watch the birds, enjoy them, you know, the flowers and all that kind of stuff. Like it's sort of that 2020 was the year, I think, where a lot of people stopped to smell the roses. And so for me, that was definitely it too. You know, a lot of gardening and stuff like that too happened this year. So I think that was, like I said, this year for sure. But definitely didn't come with some heartaches, some pain, disappointment, all that kind of stuff. But you know, I think that's something that there's positives that can be carried over into 2021. So anyways, guys, I will see you all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see you all very sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.